Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us again on SKYHIGH Reef. This is going to be the Reef Experience episode 1. Every week we're going to be back dropping new videos on this tank build over the course of the next year. Show you guys how it's going to progress on YouTube. You could definitely go over our Instagram page, SKYHIGH Reef, and also at the Reef Experience if you want to get some daily updates. But figured it's time to make a comeback and start dropping videos again and show you guys the progress of this build from the start to where it'll end up a year from now. I think it'll be a good thing to see it and see the progress and the changes that are made as we build our forever dream tank. So as we all know, lighting is one of the most important aspects of having a reef tank. For my system this time I went with the Orphic Atlantic V4 Gen 2s. I do plan on upgrading both of these lights to the new Icon LED boards and system, as well as adding 2 light bars in the front and the back to get the real full coverage. A lot of reviews that you see on these lights, man, they've grown some really nice tanks, and at one point they were considered one of the best lights to have in the reefing industry. They give out really good color, really good par. They're not Radions, you know, they're not the old Neptune Skies that I used to have. They're not AI blades, but they are their own thing, and I think they have a really good look to them aesthetically. I went ahead and hung them using normal hangers that you can get off of Amazon, use some wire and some clips, and got them all set up perfectly over the tank. Once I add in the light bars in the front and the back, I'm going to go with 2 36-inch fixtures, one purple in the back, one blue in the front, and it'll really give the tank really full spread of light. I'm going to go ahead and build out a frame around it so that way you can't see all of the hardware hanging up above it. These lights are controlled on an app. Once I upgrade them to the Icon boards, they'll be using the Icon app versus the app that I'm using now. I think the color on them are beautiful. I think the app is really easy to use. It gives you some acclimation features, some cloud features. They don't run hot at all. They don't make any noise coming out of the fan. And they look really good above the tank, as you can see. Orphic has been my go-to for a long time now as far as supplemental light. So this is my first time running a full set with them. The reason why I went with it, obviously, is cost. I bought both of these lights used off of Reef to Reef and got a really good deal on them. So that way I'm able to upgrade them to the next step with the Icons without having to break the bank. A lot of stuff in this industry are really expensive, so it made sense I was able to do that. Down in the sump, I went with some Aquamax products. Used the big oversized skimmer, gives me real good pH. I can skim really wet, really dry. Cup gets filled over a long period of time, so I don't have to check it every day. I'm also using the Aquamax media reactors, one with carbon, one with a Zeo mix from Aquaforce inside of it. Give me some good contact time with those things. That ROX carbon works really good, clears up the water really well. I'm also using that Ecotech M2 return pump, gives me good flow back up to the system and to the clear water scrubber. Plan on cleaning this up as it's been sitting for about a month and a half as the tank has been cycling since the move. But so far it's been flawless and working really well. All of the plumbing I was able to do by myself. So far so good, I'm loving it. So the tank itself is an innovative marine 150-gallon lagoon. I was able to pick up this tank from DC Reefer if you go over and check out his channel. This is his old system and it was actually passed down along to me. And I actually drove from Atlanta all the way to DC to pick up the tank. I've had this system now for about 2 years, had it fully set up and grew out a really nice semi-mature SBS reef tank that you can check out on my page on Instagram at SKYHIGH Reef. And after about a year and a half, we decided that I was moving into a new home. So I moved the whole system over and started fresh. Got rid of all of the corals, got rid of everything that was inside of it, and started all over. And here we are now, about a month and a half in. Tank is cycled. I got a couple of fish inside of the system, and I'm ready to start adding corals. The plan for this system is to make another SPS dominated reef. So not an SPS tank, but an SPS dominated tank. Because I do want to have some other things as the SPS grow. I did find waiting for the SPS to grow is a little cumbersome. I mean, you sit around and you're watching it and they're beautiful, but it takes time. So I do plan on adding a few different things. This tank is primarily an Aquaforce tank. If you watch all of my old videos from 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I'm a big Aquaforce guy. So I used all Aquaforce rock, all Aquaforce sand before, and Aquaforce salt for the system. I also use Aquaforce Zeo mix inside of the system, Aquaforce carbon, Aquaforce frag rocks as well. That way I keep the system primarily on one, brand of products that I really like. I do use Aquaforce for all of my dosing supplements as well. All of my chemicals that I'm putting in there, like the Vitality, I'm putting inside of it. I'm using the Aquaforce Elixir for all of my aminos. I'm using the ABEV products for all of my day-to-day dosing. So this is going to be an Aquaforce based tank, just like it's always been. For me, I just find that I love their products and it works really well, so I'm going to keep with what I know. I'm not going to switch it up. Now, what I did do different this time though is I went bare bottom. That's something that I've never done before. So it's be interesting to see what the challenges are, as far as, you know, if I get dinos, if I get cyano, how long it's going to take for the tank to mature. I'm hoping that, being that the tank was only down for about a day and a half while I moved it, that I shouldn't have that big of a challenge. The tank did cycle really quickly, and I did use some PNS products to get it going again. So I did put in 2 bottles of substrate sauce. The system's only about 180 gallons total volume of water. That was a good amount for about 1,000 gallons of water to get a good biome in there, get some life into the water column. So I think that'll give me a good base to start on with this system. Overall, I'm really happy with it. Has it taken a while to get started? It has. But going slow, as this tank is not going to move for a few years now. This is the final iteration of it. So I really want to be able to build my dream tank. Good news is I haven't had any real algae blooms inside of this tank. Haven't had anything growing. The lights have been running for a little over a week now. On the right side of the tank, you see I get a little sunlight from a window that's close by. I do plan on maybe tinting that window so, you know, I don't have that big of a color difference on it, but it's mainly a visual thing. It doesn't really bother me and I like it. The algae scrubber that I do have below has been running for about 2 weeks now, and it's already starting to fill up. So the last time that I did this, I ran the algae scrubber from the beginning and I never got a good algae bloom inside of this tank. I never got any green hair algae. Ran a bunch of Mexican turbos and, you know, the rock stayed clean, so I never got that real big ugly stage in the system. Now that the tank's running full time, it should be interesting to see what happens over the course of the next few weeks, which I've decided I'm going to be documenting here on YouTube. You can go over to the SKYHIGH Reef page on Instagram, or the ReefX page on Instagram, or even the Reef Experience page on Instagram. Every Thursdays we go live at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we have different guests on and talk reef tank and just everything hobby related. So there's lots of ways to see the updates of this tank and how it's going to progress, but I do plan on dropping a video every week at the very least on YouTube, so that way you guys can see it. So for stocking wise, like I said, I plan on making a little bit more of that mixed refill. So I want to get up at least about 100 SPS frags inside of the system. I love SPS, so I want to do some maricultured pieces, probably about half and half, about 50 maricultured SPS frags and about 50 named pieces. So that way I'm able to trade and do different things with them and grow out my own SKYHIGH Reef style corals and be able to hand pick them. Do want to add a torch island with about 5 different torches. I plan on having an Indo Gold, a Hellfire, a Holy Grail, a nice green, maybe a Cotton Candy, and something else. I want to put in some all Montes on the glass floor, all Cyphestria on the back walls. I want to put the sides all with chalices so that way you get that nice arch on them, and then just go from there. Plan on adding tanks to the system, Antheus to the system. Won't be putting any wrasse. Maybe something odd here and there, but I do have a very set out plan for the system and how I want to structure it and what I want it to look like long term, because again, this is a forever tank. So again, I just want to thank everybody for stopping in and checking out this video. Hopefully as the time goes on, these videos will get better and better, more views. Please make sure you give it a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'll just let you guys check out the rest of this video. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate it.